You have to tell me. I feel bad talking about this, and I don't really. When it comes to these, I don't really believe them. But this is out of respect. So with all due respect to Nipsey Hussle, may he rest in peace. I didn't know who he was until I heard the news and I started researching him, and I found out a lot about this guy.
Isn't that always the case? People are more famous dead than alive.
Yeah, and it's sad. It's so sad to lose someone like that who is making a change. And he reminds me of my friend Karim. He looks just like him, making a change. And this is what happens when you show love to your hood, and this is how the hood repays you. But there is
supposedly.
Supposedly there is a conspiracy theory around that, and.
Yeah, so this guy who was shot, he wanted to leak out information on doctors who had the cure for diseases like AIDS, cancer, etc.
Yeah, Dr. Sip,
now,
I think his name is.
Yeah, but it's not, the doctor actually isn't even the focal point of this, because whether this doctor actually had the cures for these diseases or not isn't even like the point, because the cures for these diseases have throughout decades have been exposed, and then any doctor that comes out with it, they're like, oh wow, we actually just cured cancer in rats, like, oh my god, like, we're actually, like, this is actually a huge breakthrough. Gone, vanish. They get on a plane to like go to some country to do a conference, the plane crashes. They get inside a car going home on a taxi, they're never seen again. Or they all of a sudden commit suicide, or they were they went outside, they had a drink at a bar, and then all of a sudden they got food poisoning and died. So something always happens where they either go missing or they die. But in case with this rapper, he was going to bring a lot of light to the topic, not just to the doctor. The doctor isn't even that important, but bring light to the topic of, are governments hiding cures for diseases because pharmaceutical companies make so much money off of cancer? Why should they cure you? Even in Family Guy, they say, why should we cure you once for a fee when we can charge you for the rest of your life for the disease that you have?
Yeah.
Money controls the world, right?
Yeah.
As for this guy shooting, I made a live stream on Saturday, and people asked me what's something that you could basically predict for us randomly that's going to happen in an extremely short period of time. And I said there's going to be a shooting in Los Angeles on a very important person, and you're going to see it all over the news within like the next 48 hours. Awkwardly enough, the next day, was a Sunday night or something, he gets shot. So it was very, very like funky how that happened. And then everyone started sharing like that clip of me saying it on the live stream, and then like all these other like rappers, people that I don't know because I haven't listened to rap music, all started seeing it, and then it just became kind of a conflict. It could have been a complete coincidence.
Yeah, and it's crazy. I mean, Charlamagne is saying that it can't be true because now Nick Cannon's gonna finish that documentary.
So
but is he gonna finish it?
Or it could be that he finishes it the way they want it to be put out.
Yeah.
It's called sanitizing.
Yeah.
It's when, for example, the CIA's official website, any document that they had from like 1950s, 1960s, there's something called the Freedoms Act where they have to release their documents that are old, like that they don't need to use anymore. So like, let's say for example, like the CIA like saw like some UFO or something, and they on a crash site, and they found like the ship or something. This was like, for example, 1951. The Freedom Act basically says that after like 40, 50 years, they have to release it to the public, the information. However, they can sanitize it, which basically means they can edit it and take out parts they don't want you to know.
Wow.
So they can say, yeah, there's some ship crashed into the ocean, but they don't tell you what was in it. They don't tell you how it was piloted. They don't tell you what kind of ship it was. All that stuff is removed. So what's the point? But it's called sanitized.
That's crazy.
The trick
man.
is to get the unsanitized versions.
Yeah. I'm always afraid to get really into these things because it's just like there's always things like that.
But the thing is, I don't think it's not even like, oh my god, conspiracy. It's just money. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that. It's kind of common sense to think about why, if you owned pharmaceutical companies, right? If you were making trillions of dollars off of diseases or whatever the case, if people were sick, why would you want to cure everyone? You know, and I'm not even speaking about it like, oh, in an evil way. I'm just speaking about it just in terms of business. Why would you? And I'm not the only one saying this. This is not a conspiracy theory thing. They talk about this in shows. They talk about this in cartoons. They talk about this in movies. You know, actors say it all the time. So it's not something that's like, oh, hush, hush. It's kind of out there.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it makes sense. It's scary, but it makes sense. And I don't want to confirm or deny it.
Oh no, yeah, you can never.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, he was gonna do a lot. Man. He just got his first album nominated. He was gonna blow up. He had all these songs lined up with all these creators.
I don't know the
but
guy
this
in
just
Hole in the
comes
Wall.
to show, man. Like when you're trying to do something good for the community, or trying to like just help people, things like this happen. It's always the genuine ones that get taken away early.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
And I was watching a documentary yesterday about him, about Nipsey Hussle and his brother, and they're from Eritrea. Their father's from Eritrea, and it's a predominantly Muslim country. So there's people saying that they're actually Muslim. And I was seeing, like, you know, in the comments when he died, like they went on his Instagram and Twitter, they're like, Inna lillahi wa ilayhi raji'un, which means, you know, from God we come and to God we go. And I was like, wow, man, that's, you know, if he was actually a Muslim, that's huge, you know? That's crazy. You know, it would have been nice, you know, because it would be nice to have something like that for the Muslim community. Someone who's making change
when you're in the public,
in the world.
When you're in a public image and you're a public figure and you're someone of Muslim faith, is the reason why I say Muslim faith is because Christians don't care, right? If a celebrity is Christian, Jews don't care if a celebrity is Jewish.
No, they do. They do.
No, what I mean by that is, if you're Muslim and you're a Muslim YouTuber and you do something that's considered wrong or immoral, the community is going to rip you.
Oh, you mean like that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
The community is going to rip you. Christians don't care,
and,
right?
Yeah, and the Jewish people,
and Jews don't care.
When
but the Muslim community does care.
Yeah.
And they will rip you. So I feel like it's a double whammy when you come out like about your religious faith, because that's the truth. That's just how they are. Muslim communities are very more close knit than I feel than Christian communities in that regard. So it is a little spooky to be in public light.
Oh yeah. It's true. I mean, it's like YouTube always. You know, let's go back to it. YouTube always reminds me that I made a mistake to talk about my culture, to talk about my religion, and to be proud of it. They showed me that it was a mistake. I had people bullying me for it. I had people talking to me, and I was afraid to show it and afraid to bring it out because I didn't think it would be accepted. But they reminded me, YouTube and its algorithm, or whoever's working behind it, reminded me that it does matter, and that I can't talk about it anymore, and that it's wrong. Because with everything seen, if I put the word Muslim, which is kind of like discrimination in a way, if I put the word Muslim and I tested it out, I get demonetized. And what happens when a video is demonetized? It doesn't get recommended. It doesn't get pushed. It doesn't get... and it is nothing. I'm not even talking about anything bad. I swear.
You can't vent about anything. You can't say anything that could be... That's what that goes back to what I said in the beginning of this podcast, which was... You always have to be happy all the time. Smile on your face, Barney and friends, rainbow and sunshine. Let's walk through the flower fields. You always have to be happy. You always have to be excited. You always have to be like, and that's not the truth of it.
Yeah. So
that's not the truth.
To close it up, and again, thank you, YouTube, for letting me regret bringing out my religion, where I thought I could have a platform to be proud of my religion and to bring peace and understanding and unity with other people, to actually just be like another one of those bullies back in my day when I was young, who would not let me speak about my religion or speak of it or even bring it out, because you have just proved to everyone and myself that you do not allow that anymore. And you have silenced me. And this is honestly, I'm 100% being truthful right here. YouTube, you have silenced me, and I thank you for that. And it upsets me.
Censorship is powerful, though, regardless of how it arrives to society.
It's powerful. It's powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, I think
it's the most annoying thing, actually, in the world.
Yeah.
I would rather, and I say this all the time, I would rather someone have the right to say I'm ugly and make fun of me and insult me and give me all of these different labels than them not have the right to say it.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I can walk away. I don't need to listen to them. I know I'm hideous, but I don't need to listen to them. But there's going to come a time where I want to voice my opinion on something.
Yeah.
And if the censorship is too strong and I can't say anything, I'm going to hate my life for it.